Hey guys, what's up? We are delivering our favorite movies of the year pretty late in the game here, but this is the first time we've really been able to come together in a good setting. So,
Well, it gave us all the chance to make sure we rounded out
I even
2018 with every movie that we could possibly
so much so
watch.
that I even watched two new movies yesterday just to see if they'd make my top 20. That's what we're going into, our top 20. Our 20 through 11 will just be name recognition, not really in detail. And 10 through 1 will be slight, like minute-long discussions, maybe if that.
Look.
So, let's get into it. Do you want to do your 20 through 11 first, and then maybe...
Why don't we just do them like one by one?
No, I don't
Oh,
like
come
that.
on.
I don't like that. Here's what I like. I like, when we get to our 10, I like 10 through 6, 10 through 6, 5 through 2, 5 through 2, then our 1s. Does that sound good?
Sure.
You do your 20 through 11 first. Here we go.
20. Truth or Dare.
No, it is not. You are a liar.
Truth or Dare, number 20.
You're a liar.
No, that's number 20. Number 19. Searching. 18. Mission Impossible Fallout. I told you you would freak out at my very first one.
Okay. All right.
It was great.
Okay.
It was a blast. We had a ball in that theater watching
keep
that.
Keep going.
First Man at number 17. Black Klansman at 16. A Star is Born at 15. Vice at 14. Crazy Rich Asians at 13. Bohemian Rhapsody at 12. And number 11, Bumblebee.
I'm embarrassed, Josh. I'm embarrassed because we know that movie was trash. It wasn't even that fun. What are you talking
It was
about?
fun. We had a blast.
Compared to
watching
like
that movie.
Wish Upon, okay,
That's why it was.
whatever,
That's why it was a blast.
whatever. It was a gimmick or whatever. My 20 through 11. I didn't even listen to your other ones after that. I think you had Bohemian Rhapsody in there somewhere.
I did at 12.
Okay, mine 20 Vice, 19 Crazy Rich Asians, 18 Paddington 2, 17 Sorry to Bother You, 16 You Were Never Really
You
Here,
bothered me.
15 The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, 14 Roma, 13 Avengers Infinity War, 12 Bad Times at the El Royale, and 11 is Isle of Dogs. So you want to give your 10 now and go 10 through 6, and we'll briefly talk about the movies if you want to.
10, Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Uh-huh. Number 9 is Avengers Infinity War. Number 8 is You Were Never Really Here. Number 7 is Bad Times at the El Royale. And 6 is Hereditary.
Okay. You want to go into any of these, Josh?
No.
Really?
No.
I have
They're
most.
pretty
I
self-explanatory.
have most of these in my top 10.
I was going to say, they're pretty self-explanatory.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah. When you think about it. I mean, Spider-Man was cool and all, but, I mean, other than it being a singular story, it wasn't as good as Avengers. Because Avengers built up to everything. I know, you think Spider-Man's the best movie of the year, and that's okay.
I don't.
It was
Not
your-
necessarily.
It was your number one for like 3-4 months, so it wasn't really 3 or 4 months.
been out
It was
for like a
3 or
month.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
You rode that horse all the way to the station, or that train to the
So
station.
what was your 9?
Avengers was number 9.
Okay. Well, Avengers is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched Avengers like 5 times. It's probably the most enjoyable movie you could watch in the movie theater all year. It doesn't make it the best movie of the year, but
I know that's why it's at number 9.
I still think it's the best MCU movie though. I do. I think it is. I do.
I don't. That's okay.
What was your 8?
You Were Never Really Here.
That's a great movie. I wish it could have made my top 10 if
I really enjoyed that movie.
if I
a lot.
if I've only watched it like one time, if I watch it again, it maybe could like crack in there. I think it's not getting enough recognition. It just came out so early in the year.
It came out very
That was a really good movie. What was your 7?
Bad Times at the El Royale.
Most underrated movie of the year, I think.
Yeah.
Has like a 60 on Metacritic. That movie is almost perfect, I think. It's better than... It's Drew Goddard doing Tarantino better than recent Tarantino. It's better than every Tarantino I've seen since maybe like Kill Bill, honestly.
Yeah.
Just... It's kind of long, but it doesn't feel...
It doesn't
It feels
feel
like
long.
it feels emotionally impactful compared to Tarantino's movies which turn to cartoons at the end of the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're never bored watching it.
And a great Chris Hemsworth villain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth's fantastic.
And your 6 was Hereditary, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay, we won't talk about that yet.
You want to talk about that yet? What was your 10 through 6?
I haven't
Did
said
you
it
already
yet.
say them
I haven't said it yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't
Sorry.
said it yet.
See, that's why I don't like doing it this way, because I can't remember if
Okay.
we talked about them or not.
My number 10 is First Reformed, which is that
I haven't seen it yet.
A24 Ethan Hawke movie, obviously. 9 is The Favorite.
I haven't seen that one yet either. So.
8, Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Ooh.
7, First Man. And 6, I Have a Quiet Place. First Reformed, A24. I have 3 A24 movies in my top 10, because, of course.
Well, A24 can't really do any wrong right now.
Well, they can do wrong, but the movies that I've seen by A24 this
Yeah.
year were all pretty damn good.
I can't think of an A24
You know-
movie that was bad.
First Reformed, this Ethan Hawke movie, when you watch the trailer, it's you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Because remember, they played it before, like Hereditary, I think, when we saw it in
Yeah.
theaters.
I
And
wish it would have got a wider release than what it did.
it really subverts your expectations. You think it's just going to be about a guy going through struggles like a religious man. But the movie is about, it's essentially about global warming is what the movie's about. And it has a really interesting take on climate change and how it's like, why is it that religious people don't care about climate change? I guess it makes a lot of interesting points with what the Bible is saying. In the core of it, it is a faith-based film, but it's saying things so raw and intimately, and it is an R-rated film. Really interesting movie. 9, The Favorite. This is going to get nominated for a lot of Oscars in the morning. It's a period piece drama about, not even a drama, more like a black comedy about a love triangle between 3 women, directed by the director of The Lobster. So that's all you really need to
That's
know.
all you need to know.
It's
The Lobster.
funny and really messed up, and I really enjoyed it. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Won't You Be My Neighbor? I assume that's going to pop up on your list.
Oh,
I'm not even
definitely
going to.
gonna pop up
We'll
on
talk
my list.
about it. First Man. Yeah, I was one of the people that really loved First Man a lot. It's I do.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I do think
it's a fantastic
I think it's
film.
Damien Chazelle's weakest movie, but man, his first 2 movies are perfect. So
Yeah.
I just think it's a really intimate look into seeing a guy really trying to hone in like what he's trying to do in terms of getting to the moon, while everybody else is trying to figure out what he's about. He's trying to figure out how to get to the moon, and I think that's an interesting. It was pretty chilling. It's just kind of long.
It being so low on my list doesn't mean that it wasn't
Yeah.
a good movie. It's just I liked all those other movies better, but it is a great film.
Some
It's a
of
good
the
film.
best filmmaking of the year, I think. It's just
Yeah.
I think the characterization and the tone threw some people off. It's not a traditional biopic.
Yeah.
And at 6, I Had a Quiet Place. I assume that's going to pop up on yours higher. So if you want to give your 5 through 2, and we'll see what you got.
Okay. 5 through 2 is Isle of Dogs at number 5.
Whoa! Okay.
Why is that?
I didn't think that was going to pop up that high. I thought I liked that movie more than you.
No, I loved that movie.
I loved it too.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? No, Won't You Be My Neighbor at number 4.
Yeah.
Love, Simon at number 3.
Okay.
Do I need to say number 2 yet?
Yeah.
Okay. And A Quiet Place at number 2.
Okay.
So.
So what'd you have at 5? The Isle of Dogs. You
Isle
know,
of Dogs at number 5.
I love that movie.
I love that movie. I think that's a movie that people don't give enough of a chance, and that's sad. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that will watch the movie and be like, okay, that was stupid. And if you like Fantastic Mr. Fox, you're gonna like Isle of Dogs. You're gonna like it. You have to like it. It's in the same. It's like a spiritual successor to that.
It's not even like, and the thing is that it's not a kids movie.
Oh,
either.
no, no.
Like Fantastic Mr. Fox had mature elements, but it was still a kids movie.
Yeah.
This movie has some straight up like disturbing imagery
Yeah.
in it. So if you want to see some like skeletons of dogs, it's the perfect movie for you.
Even though it's stop motion animation stuff,
It's still beautiful.
It's still pretty.
I haven't watched this movie again because I don't like watching movies by myself a second time. I like to show it to somebody else, and I don't know who I'd show it to because it's such a distinct style that I'm like, I don't know who would be into this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I have a hard time wanting to show my family it because it's stop motion animation. They'll probably just view it as stupid, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. So one day I might just have to crack down and just watch it again by myself because I think the humor and the musical score alone is like that's enough to watch the movie again.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was your 4?
Won't You Be My Neighbor? Neighbor. Was
Yeah.
number 4.
That was
I think it's the best biopic of the year.
disturbing. I mean, not disturbing.
Disturbing?
but documentary of the year, not a biopic, Josh. It's not a biopic.
Documentary.
We're both
fine.
saying the wrong words here. Disturbing, and we are just off.
It's a disturbing film about Mr. Rogers, where Mr. Rogers was
Well,
actually
yeah, okay.
a murderer.
Okay, I have "Won't You Be
He
My Neighbor" in
wasn't.
my top 10 as well. It's great.
Yeah,
It's
fantastic.
It's the most emotionally resident movie
Like,
of the year.
like I
I think.
literally cried the moment the theme from the show
There's
started.
so many
Watching
moments.
that film.
There's so many moments that bring different emotions. Like whenever it shows him like make his statement to like Congress saying like why
Yeah.
they want funding. That alone,
PBS.
seeing him like and him being nervous while doing it but still being powerful. That alone makes you cry. Then there's
Yep.
about 5 other moments
Yep.
throughout the movie, including the end. It's just
Yeah.
it hits such a punch just for
Yeah.
different reasons, and it'll hit people for all the reasons in the world.
If you were a fan of Mr. Rogers, it's definitely it's a movie to watch. And if you're not a fan of Mr. Rogers, it'll make you a fan of Mr. Rogers.
Definitely. That's another one I've been wanting to rewatch again, but I just don't want my day to be ruined.
Yeah.
As much joy as there is in it, at the end of it, it hits such a hard punch that I'm like, I don't want to feel like that again. But I watched the documentary last night, Three Identical Strangers, which I think with time could be on par with that movie. So I was tempted to put them both in my top 10 and have it a tie. I was like, that's cheating.
That's cheating.
So I didn't
Can't
even
do
put it in my top 20.
Can't do that.
That's Caleb logic. I was like, I'm just
do
not
it.
putting it in my top 20.
Can't do it.
What was your 3?
Love Simon.
Love Simon.
Yep.
Love Simon's really good. I do need to watch it again.
It's the best. Would you call it a coming of age movie? Sort of.
It's a coming of age movie. It's also a coming out story as well.
It's the best movie of that caliber this year.
From what I can tell, it is the only mainstream movie about a gay character, right? Like most of the movies we see about gay characters are indie movies. This was released into thousands and thousands of theaters, and it didn't do as well as probably we'd like. But aside from it being a really interesting coming of age story, I think it's a really good mystery movie.
Yeah,
because there's a time you pick out who it is that's his secret admirer, and then that shows to not being like, who could it be then? Like, it has to be that person. It plays out in a really interesting way. I need to revisit that one. What was your 2?
A Quiet Place.
Quiet Place, one of the best theatrical
fantastic.
experiences of the year.
Yep.
Luckily, our theater was solid.
Our theater made that movie.
Because the second time I watched it, there was 5 people, and they sucked. But the first time we watched it, there was 40 people, and they were great.
Yeah,
that was
just
just
like you could literally hear a pin
that was
drop
such a
in
tense.
the theater when
That
we watched
movie,
it.
that's a movie that drastically changes once you watch it at home. Not for worse reasons. It just becomes a really strong family drama.
Yeah.
Compared to theaters, the first time, it's just really tense, and you can say it's jump scary, but those jump scares work. Like
the jump scares work because I hate jump scares because I think it's just it's a cheap way to scare someone. But when the premise of the film is quietness, when it's silence, it works. There's a difference. There's a difference between just being cheap and then working it toward the way you're shooting.
I'd say
the
from
movie.
the point of, from where the crap hits the fan, where Emily Blunt is pregnant and going into labor, and she has to deal with that. From that point on, the movie is just it's a masterpiece. I think. And let's see what my 5 through 2 was. See if we have any combining elements. We don't. We don't. Not there. But my 5 was 8th grade. My 4 is Blind Spotting. 3 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and 2 is Hereditary. I know 8th grade you didn't like it as much as I like it.
No.
But I truly love this movie, and I showed it to my parents, who have a daughter, and the movie really resonated with them as well. I don't know, it's just that type of movie. I remember I liked The Edge of 17 more than you guys too when that came out, and Lady Bird. Like these movies, I like watching these coming of age stories about someone that I necessarily can't relate with, but I can in an extent. Like I'm not a girl, but I see that. I saw characters like that growing up, and I really thought it was really good directorial debut from Bo Burnham. Really good soundtrack. For Blind Spotting is the most underappreciated movie of the year. Not underrated because it got great reviews. It's about race relations in Oakland, and it's a really interesting and funny take on it compared to a movie that we're about to watch later today, Green Book, which is a fun movie, but it doesn't deal with race relations the way this movie does. It also deals with like cop shootings, and it doesn't do it in a ham-fisted way, in a straight up like liberal way. It doesn't. It's pretty it has an unbiased look on it. Just how people treat these friends, one's black, one's white, and how people view each of them, even though one of them's clearly worse than the other one. Yeah. And it is the white one, but people always point to the black one. And it's an interesting, really interesting movie, and it's funny. 3, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, obviously. I love that movie. I have a feeling if I wanted to watch it several times in the theaters, and I think if I would have, it would have been my number 1 movie of the year. But I couldn't really there was just so many movies coming out when it came out. Like he had Aquaman, Bumblebee, Mary Poppins, and I never got a chance to watch it
It was
again.
a loaded month in December.
It was
this
loaded,
year,
man,
or
and
last
I
year.
truly love that movie. That's the freshest animation I've ever seen in a movie. It's winning.
Oh, it was a fantastic film. I just couldn't put it. I could not put it any higher than the rest of these movies because I just love the rest.
I think it's by far the best Spider-Man movie. It's funny, heartfelt. I cried a couple times. Yeah, just it was amazing. I thought it was a perfect animated movie. And if it doesn't win the Oscar, I'll be very disappointed. And two, Hereditary is a masterpiece. I think it's a horror masterpiece.
It's tense. It's thrilling. It's scary.
You had that as your 6, right? Hereditary was.
I believe
it was your
Hereditary
6.
was 6. Yeah.
Up until yesterday, Hereditary was my 3. But I realized I've watched Hereditary more than I've watched Spider-Man. I think down the line I'll appreciate Hereditary more than Spider-Man. Yeah. It was just it was special, and it was evil, and it was heartfelt, and it has the best performance I've seen from an actress in years. That's not going to get any recognition for it, and that's Toni Collette.
And why I couldn't give that higher was because of our experience in the theater.
Yeah,
and it's another movie. It's another movie that I would have to watch again, and if I do watch it again, which I more than likely will because I did enjoy it. It would probably be higher if we ever revised our list.
See, I watched that on premiere night, and the theater wasn't bad. Then I watched it with you all, and the theater
was
bad.
Awful.
It was bad.
Stop being dicks in the theater.
I think Hereditary is the most upsetting mainstream movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
you will not walk out of that movie feeling good. No. I just felt like trash throughout that whole entire movie, especially when that second act turn happens, and you're like, God. And I thought this was. Supposed to be the main. I thought this was the main. I thought this was the main character I thought this was the main character in the movie. What are you doing? I don't feel good about this, and I think our number ones are equals here, which is
Annihilation.
Which is Death Wish? No, Annihilation.
No,
Annihilation.
Annihilation's the best movie of the year, and it came out at the beginning.
Came out at the end of February.
Yeah.
When I watched it, I was like, I wonder what's going to top this whole year, and it never happened. Maybe because we had the luxury of getting to watch it in a theater compared to everybody else who either watched it on Netflix or had to wait for it to come out on DVD. I think they really screwed the pooch with that movie, man.
Yeah, and we shot a whole video about that, which you can
how
go
Paramount
back and
just
watch.
screwed the chances for that movie, man.
You can see the link will be in the bottom.
It doesn't have many views, but yeah, I thought we made some interesting
we talked
points.
about that movie for like 20 minutes about how great it was, and it was really one of the only movies we gave like an A, like together we gave an A+ to while we were doing things. Wasn't it? Might be the only movie we gave an A+ to.
Maybe unless did you give Hereditary an A+?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I think I gave it like a B, I think, or a B+.
Okay.
Maybe an A-. I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe I did give it an A+. I don't remember. Well, I'm talking about unanimously.
Oh yeah,
both of us together.
I think it's a sci-fi horror masterpiece.
It's a perfect film. It's perfect. There's nothing like that. That movie should like get nominated for a bunch of stuff this year anymore.
It should get nominated for best visual effects, best cinematography, best score. I'm not even. If I say best picture, that's just me being subjective. But it's not going. Movies like that don't get nominated for best picture.
I know.
But I'm just talking about some of these technical things. The fact that it's not going to is mind blowing. Best visual effects, like seriously, this movie has the most interesting and innovative visual effects I've seen in a movie this year.
The bear thing.
The bear and the whole.
The bear person.
And the whole climax with the humanoid. Like I said, the luxury of watching it on the big screen with the sound. I just from the second act on, I had consistent goosebumps, and I was just shaking. And I know the theater was kind of cold.
One of the most beautiful scenes, though, is the flower scene. It's beautiful.
The flower scene, like towards the end in the third act, with Tessa Thompson's character.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's beautiful. That right there's enough to give.
And I like that all these characters have a reason for going into the shimmer. And I like all their conclusions fit in with their personalities, I think. It is beautiful. I like the concept of self-destruction throughout the movie. It has a lot of interesting thematic elements.
It's a deep movie, but it's horrifying at the same time.
I also don't think it's that hard of a movie to understand. If you walk out of that movie confused, you just haven't seen movies. Because it's not that confusing. It's on par with like Ex Machina in terms of like its themes. It's easy to understand. It's just done so well and smart.
Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite movie of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe my favorite movie of the past couple years, because I think I like that more than like Lady Bird and Three Billboards.
Like probably your favorite since Arrival, probably? Cause...
No, Arrival wasn't even my favorite that year. I think Nocturnal Animals wasn't. La La Land came out that year too in Kubo. Arrival was about fourth that year.
Jeez, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot about all those movies.
That's our top 20. And
Woo!
woo, yeah,
Woo!
it's pretty decent.
Go watch any of these movies.
Pretty
You're not
decent
going to
year-
be disappointed.
Pretty decent year for movies, but sort of a letdown in terms of Oscar movies because I don't think we have a lot of Oscar movies in these. I have like Roma and The Favorite, which you haven't seen. Those are really my only like Oscar potentials. And Vice, I guess, Vice and Black
Vice.
Klansman. I didn't even have Black Klansman on top 20. Yeah, that's our.
Avengers is going to get nominated for Best Picture.
It should win visual effects, and if it don't, I will.
Bohemian Rhapsody is going to get nominated for Best Picture.
It is. It is.
That video's coming.
It's gonna get nominated, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm just tomorrow morning I'm gonna do my Oscar reaction videos like I do every year, and it's gonna be a
That'll
blast.
be him. I have work
I'm
because
gonna have fun, and
I
then I'm
suck.
getting enraged by the nominations, maybe or maybe not. We'll see.
I'll watch it live while you're doing it.
Okay. I'm not actually. Yeah. But yeah, that's our top 20. What was your favorite movies of the year? Comment down below. Did you like our list? Did you hate our list? And
Subscribe!
subscribe, and thank you for watching.